it has been days. For me, it has been minutes. All right, welcome back. This is my first time filming like consecutive videos back to back to back to back. So it's a little bit of a trip. Welcome to my week before Breyerfest / Breyerfest week watch in the car on your road trip entertainment, my annual collection tour. If you watched my last YouTube video, we talked about all things Breyerfest 2024. We talked about the special runs, the models, my plans, and today I'm here to do absolutely none of that. I am here to give you only a collection tour, which my tradition now is to release it the week before Breyerfest so that we are hyped, we are excited. You have something really obnoxiously long to watch in the car if you are road tripping. Yeah, so that's what we're here to do today. This year's collection tour is extra special because we are in a different horse room than we have been in for every other collection tour that I have ever filmed. Most of you know at this point, but if you are new, my husband and I bought a house. We had actually just gone under contract for that house, or for this house, when I filmed my last collection tour. But we had obviously not yet closed or moved to said house until after my collection tour 2023. Obviously now we are in house. Horses have all moved. We are in new horse corner is what I call it, because it is a corner of our basement. And there's a lot of new stuff to talk about in this collection tour. So it's going to be really fun. I'm going to show you guys kind of around this whole area because it is all hobby related, hobby relevant. And then obviously, and most importantly, we will talk about the ponies themselves. Yeah, I'm super excited. I am so happy with how this space came together. It is literally my dream. This space is my dream. When we were looking at houses and in the process of moving, I told husband Sam what my vision was and what my dream was, and we made it happen, and it is this space. This space is my dream. I could sit down here all day if I was able to, if I didn't have a big girl job, and just work on projects and be creative and do hobby things. So this is my dream, and we worked so hard to make it a reality. I went to school for 7 years. My husband went to school for also many years. We both work full-time. And then to be able to have this space in that house was really special. So it's something that I don't take for granted and that I'm very grateful for, and that I have worked immensely hard for in my adult life for the past 10 years or so. So without further ado, welcome to the new horse corner officially, and let's take a look around. Don't worry, there's still tons of cats, right? Oh. Okay, welcome to the horse corner, which is quite literally a corner of my basement that is dedicated to plastic horses and cats. These are the main shelving units here, actually the only shelving units. We will go through all of them in a little bit more detail. We also have my desk and all of my business supplies for CWS model horse shows and designs, and my books, all of my books, and all of my business and other hobby materials. Side of the corner, we have the rest of my basement, featuring Cookie. These shelving units are all new. We bought them when we moved into the house. We wanted the shelving to all be cohesive since it is out in the open, and we wanted the colors to match the basement and the way that we had the basement painted. And my husband actually wound up liking the way that these shelves looked so much that we bought all of our basement entertaining furniture to match them. So all of our furniture in the basement wound up matching the horse corner. And we love a good smooch moment in the corner. Before we get into the models, I do just want to show you guys where I work on all things hobby related, both for the business and for my personal hobby projects, showing, etc. This is where the magic happens. This is my desk. We've got the Cricut, and we've got the only books that I kept from law school because I wanted to burn most of them in a fiery pit when that was over. We have my favorite ribbons that I won when I was on my college equestrian team. I've actually got 2 hobby-related shadow boxes, both from Breyer West 2024 and Ponies and Palm Trees in 2022, up in the corner there. I've got my business sign as well as my business mascots here in the window well. And y'all have no idea how important it is to have access to a printer and a laminator and a photo printer with all of the hobby projects that I work on. Here's also a sneak peek at my CWS Lost in the Woods photo show prizes that are going out shortly. If you have not already seen them, I've got them all ready to get packed up and shipped. And lots of you are aware at this point, but I'm a big book nerd, so it is nice to be able to have my favorite books out on display in my office space. Starting off here, I've got a little hobby coffee table where I have some hobby-related books, as well as my little carton of all of my Breyer paraphernalia, packaging, box backers, etc. And then below, the little filing cabinet on the left has all of my reference cards in it, and the black box on the right is Lightbox. So with that, we are ready to get into the actual models themselves. I am going to try to go faster on this part than I have in years past, just because you guys have seen most of these. I'll point out some of the new additions, but other than that, we are going to breeze through this. Starting first with these 2 floating shelves, we have my Clinkies. I have only OF Clinkies here. We've got the 2 big guys there are Beswick's, the Dalmatian is new, and the gray Hunter, Irish Hunter, was an engagement gift. My husband bought that for me the day that he proposed, so that guy is extra special. Everything else on these shelves are Hagen Renekers, and then I have 3 clay portrait commissions of my kitty cats. That was before we got socks, so there should be a 4th, but she's there in spirit. And then of course, we have mini Duwamish that I painted at Breyer West. In the first mini shelf, we have my sport breeds, which include the Cantering Warm Blood, the G4 Hanoverian, the new modern Warm Blood, the Standing Thoroughbred, and the Corbin. A couple special ones here are Mini Ruffian. I love him. He's one of my best show models. As well as Cecil, who is new. Cecil was the Chasing the Chesapeake event stablemate. In the spirit of minis, I'll go ahead and I will do my other 2 mini shelves, which are kind of on the other end of the horse corner here. This shelf has mostly Spanish horses and draft horses. There are so many nice Spanish mini molds that I collect, so they take up quite a bit of space. A few special ones are my London Pride. I absolutely love her. She is also one of my best show models. Mini Dandy is also pretty cool. He's a Vintage Club stablemate. We also can't forget Mr. Ned down there at the end. He was the Spokes and Spurs stablemate from the Breyer event this year. I'm a big mini Alborozo girl, so I do have all 3 realistic Valerios, which they're great additions to the collection. I've got to mention Mr. Rue there because he's also extremely cool. I love the Murado mold. And I love my Darwins. I love the original. I'm so happy to have him back on my shelves. He had to go out for a repair this year after being broken for the better part of 2 years, but he is back to his former glory now. And then we love a Django moment. Here they are. I love this mold. This bottom shelf here is mostly ponies and stock horses. And then the very bottom shelf are my light horses. I do love my Blue Roan Pinto Iris. She's a very special little girl. And then I was super happy to get the 3 realistic Verkeys from the Stablemates Club last year. He was the Gambler's Choice stablemate. And then within the past year, I have been lucky enough to complete my realistic Atlee collection. Atlee was the Gambler's Choice from a few years back from the Stablemates Club, and I pulled that silver bay on the end, and in the last year have been able to add both the chestnut and the gray. And then of course I would be remiss if I did not mention the addition of Moon Pie, who I was lucky enough to be able to purchase at the end of 2023, and she went on to be the overall grand champion at the Breyer West Open Show. So not only was she an awesome addition to the collection, but she has since done me quite proud, and I'm very happy to have her. Alright, and I really went on a mini rampage at the end of 2023 here, and I am now happy to say that I have all 4 of the variations of Diesel in my herd. If you remember back at my Breyerfest haul from 2023, I was so excited to add the Wedgwood. I found him in the Clarion and was super excited to pick him up. Well, 2023 Sam, you now have a full set. So there they are. And the last final addition to my mini rampage from 2023 was the lovely Belvedere, who was the Sweet Home Chicago stablemate. He is honestly my favorite event stablemate out of the lot of them. I know he might not show as well as some of the other ones, but he is my personal favorite, and I'm very happy to have added one. Okay, we are moving on to the big guys. The first shelving unit is mostly light and Spanish horses, and then a sprinkle of sport horses at the bottom. All the way at the top we do have my Triple Crown winners kind of collection. I have both the resin copy of Justify and the resin copy of American Pharaoh, as well as that new little, he's more of a plasticky, but the little Secretariat from the Secretariat series this past year. Alright, top shelf is for my Oasis, S Just a Dream, Make-A-Wish, Conga. The big highlight there, you guys already know, is my lovely Burnham. I am not going to pull her out, but she is an event boutique model from Sweet Home Chicago. Next we have Ash Quar, who is lovely as ever, and one Poppy and Ollie set because they don't fit on the shelf with the rest of them. She is a long woman. Here we've got my show Stance Arabs, featuring the lovely Rose Gray Araba, who I added at Breyerfest last year. And we've got my small but mighty Weather Girl Conga. The newest one there is Flamingo, who was a web special from 2023. And here we have my Secession and LaFire Conga. The big highlight here is the new decoupage and impressionistic set that I purchased around the holidays. Unfortunately, decoupage arrived to me with a broken ear, and I did have it repaired, but it popped off again, so she is a shelf sitter at the moment, but I do plan on getting her professionally looked at again in the future because she is so lovely. And then we've got the Pams, my 3 little Pams. I love Farah in the middle there. She is a Vintage Club model. And here we have my True North Conga, which I continuously threaten to sell and may eventually sell someday, but for now they're staying. The big highlight here is Glossy Catch Me, who I added at Breyerfest last year. And tucked in the corner, we have my one and only Troubadour, who is the lovely glossy Harkness that I got at Breyer West in 2024, this past March. He is especially a special model for me because I learned after Breyer Fest 2023, where Harkness was originally released as a limited edition, that the real horse, Harkness, lives about 15 minutes down the road from me. Only about 5 minutes away from where my personal horse lives. And his owners are such fantastic people. I've actually gotten to meet them a few times since Breyer Fest. And so when I found out that Breyer West was glossing Harkness for their special run, I knew that I had to add one instead of just adding the matte version. So there he is. He's lovely, and he is a sentimental piece for me. Going back to the top, we have the Duendes, and hiding in the corner, we have the Cancions. The big highlights here are the new glossy Dominante that you can barely see. I'd wanted him for years, and I finally had the chance to obtain him. You saw him in my CCA video. I traded my glossy Mojave that I pulled for glossy Dominante, and he nanned his first time out at a show. First place double nan, so gotta love that. This guy is also one of only a few that I will actually pull off the shelf. This is my Golden Sunset, and the reason he gets pulled off the shelf is because he is one of my favorites, if not my favorite model in my collection. He is absolutely beautiful. And you will notice as we go along that some of these shelves are incredibly full. Don't be alarmed. The plan is to put a new shelving unit in that corner after Breyer Fest. Ignore the pile of Breyer Fest things. There will be a shelving unit there next collection tour. Trust me. It's we've got ponies in pony jail right now, so we need more shelving. Alright, on the next shelf we have my Hermosa and Corazones. I love this mold. The only one that you do not see here is Mamacita. She should go right there. She was out for professional repairs before I pack up for Nan, and she should be back any day now. And here we have my Emerson Conga. We are also missing Mr. Crane there on the end. He also went out for some professional repairs before Nan. So right now, the highlight of this Conga is definitely my glossy Winx, who is probably one of my best show models. I think that she's probably nanned more than she hasn't. She's a lovely, lovely horse. Next we have my small but mighty Smarty Jones Conga. And then at the end is my only Peter Stone, who is a portrait model of Smooch, my real horse. And down at the very bottom is my small but mighty Ruffian Conga. Okay, the corner shelf is pretty split. On the left we have sport horses, and on the right we have stock horses. And at the very top we have all of my Gambler's Choice classics, as well as my one Vintage Club classic. I have a Gambler's Choice classic problem. I love these guys, so I've got quite a few. Starting at the very top we have my small but mighty show jumping warm blood quote-unquote Conga. Bolo there in the middle is an event boutique model from Scottsdale Stampede. We then have my Vallegros. Highlights here are Acadia, the web special, as well as Bondi, who was the event model for the 2021 event True Blue Breyer. Next, we have the Totalist Conga. The big highlights here are Rialto and my Man of the Hour, who is the inspiration behind all of my profile pictures. Alright, next are the Salineros. Big highlight here is the Dressage Elegance Salinero. I added him slightly after Breyer Fest last year, so you all have not seen him in a collection tour yet. The next big highlight here is going to be my El Capitan, who was a Passage to the Pacific event model. He is absolutely stunning. He is also an incredible show model for me. And then of course we have my Salvino, who was the Ponies and Palm Trees event model from 2022. I will pull out El Capitan just for a hot second to show him off because he is also probably top 5 in my collection at the moment for me, and this is the first time that you guys are able to see him. He is absolutely stunning. Next we have the Idicus boys. The big highlight here is Mr. Nirvana, who was a Seattle Soiree event boutique model, and he has overalled for me at shows before, so he's a lovely guy. And down at the bottom, we have Giselle. I love Giselle. New addition for this conga this year is Chesapeake, who was the event model for Chasing the Chesapeake. Didn't have her last year. She was a Breyer Fest acquisition in 23. And then of course we have my lesson learned Silver Black Slancha Surprise, who I originally did not want to add to the collection because I don't love silver blacks or silver bays, and she is now probably my favorite horse in this conga, so don't judge a book by its cover. That was my lesson learned with this horse. In the corner spots on this corner shelf, we have a couple of horses. Down at the bottom, we have my small but mighty silver conga, which you can barely see. Here we have Rhiannon and Remy, who were new for the Premier Club in 2023. They are so cute. And then also from the Premier Club 2023, we have Mr. Adonis. Alright, now we are on to the stock horse shelf, which is one of the shelves that is so full it might give me a panic attack. On the top we have the Dundies. I always think of The Office when I say Dundies. The last one I will pull down for this video is Duwamish, because I did not have him in my last collection tour. I added him in, I want to say October of 2023. He's probably the most exciting horse I've added to my collection in a very long time. I was after him for years and years and years, and they don't come up for sale very often. So when one finally came up after a few years of not seeing one, I jumped on him as quickly as I possibly could. So now he lives here and he will live here forever. Alright, next we have my Roxy's, whom I love. Got a couple of highlights here. The big highlight is probably my Spot On, who is a connoisseur. She is lovely. But new for this year were Fontana and Wimpy's Little Chick. I was able to add both of those this year. Fontana was a Breyer West special run from quite a long time ago, and Wimpy's Little Chick was a World Equestrian Games special run. I do also have the lovely Shining and Sassy, who was an event model from the Lone Star Experience. Alright, the Geronimo boys, one of the main reasons why I need more shelf space. Here they are. The big highlight here for now is my white-maned Ambrose. Ambrose was a web special painted in New Jersey, so he's already pretty special. And then mine just happens to be one of 2 known variations that was produced with a pearly white mane instead of a shaded gray mane. Next we have the Latigos, and then at the end we have my only semi-rearing stallion for now. That is, oh boy, My Kind of Town, who was the event model for Sweet Home Chicago, and then a little baby. And at the bottom we have my miscellaneous stock shelf. We've got my Firefly and Hawkeye sets, Mr. Cooper, whom I love. He's honestly one of my favorite models in my collection. He was a Vintage Club model from a few years back. And then the Bobby Joes. Big highlight here is, I want to say it's like Wimpy's Little Step. They made him a stallion for the event. This was the Spokes and Spurs event model from 2024. Alright, and then my space filler here is my Rosette Trellis. These are all from model horse shows over the past 2 years or so. And my favorite is Mr. Cow. And lastly, we have our drafts and our ponies. And jail ponies. Alright, you know it, you love it. It's the newsworthy conga. big highlights here are, as always, Spring Break, who was an event model from the Sunshine Celebration, Golden Boy, who is a connoisseur, and new for this year, we have Glossy Mr. Chips, who was a run of approximately 92. 500 were produced and about 90 or 92 of them were glossed. Here we have Besties Hamish and Peanutine. And here we have Besties Mr. Moose and 100% Good Boy. Also Garrett, who doesn't have a name. And here we have my Shenandoah Conga. My big highlights here are my Glossy Grayshire, who's a run of about 100. He was one of the original CCA horses from one of the first years they ever did CCA. I've also got a Cardinal, who was a web special from the Birds of a Feather series. And in this empty spot goes my Shenandoah, who was my third and last traditional that went out for professional repairs. He will be home shortly. Next up we have my Misties and my Astrids. And the first chunk of my Cleveland Bay Conga. The big highlight here is Mr. Patty, who was a web special with shamrocks on his booty. Here we have my Henrys. Henry is a nostalgic childhood mold for me. And my Rian and Cadell's. And next up is the second half of my Cleveland Bay Conga. The big highlight here is Mr. Astru, who was a web special, I believe of 200 or 220, and he is new for this year. He's new to my collection for this year. He was produced many years ago. Alright, and here we have my Brishins. And then my ever-expanding Flash Conga. It expands, and I don't really know how, but they just keep duplicating. Big highlights here are Midas, who is like Ambrose, a web special that was painted in New Jersey. And then next to him we have Glossy Chardonnay, who is also new to the collection for this year. He was the 2023 Breyer West Special Run. And there are the rest of them. And last but not least, for the drafts, we have my Yorgs. I love this mold. My personal favorite out of this lot is Glossy Theo. He's just a very nice guy. And next we have a combined pony shelf that is one of the other reasons why I truly do need another shelving unit. We have all of my POAs. I've got the lovely Kandinsky, who is a new addition for me. She is a connoisseur. And next to her, the Blue Roan Pippin was a UK exclusive, also a new addition to the herd. I've been wanting both of them for quite some time, so I was happy to add them recently. I've got my 3 Nikolai, Mouse, who was a Winterfest horse for this year, the original Nicholas, and the POA regular run, new for 2024. And then ever so carefully displayed, I have my bouncers. Now I lied and I said I was done pulling horses off the shelf, but I lied. I'm gonna pull one more off. In January of this year, I was lucky enough to add a sand dollar. This is CWS Afterglow, and he is one of the prides of my collection now, probably after the other 3 that I pulled off. I love him. I think that he's a very nice copy of the run. He's got an adorable pink little nose, and he's got some really nice shading. I was so lucky to have been able to add this guy, and he is very treasured in the collection. And once we have a new shelving unit in the corner, the jail horses will be able to be shelf horses. So the jail horses right now are 2 Cleveland Bays and a legend who is a Yorg. Sorry guys. Oh, and also Picante. She is also a jail horse. Thank goodness this carpet is like super cushy and I can have jail horses. So they'll have a home soon. The only other models that I have are a few models that live in these cube shelves. These are my new in box celebration horses from Breyer Fest every year that I use both as signing horses and as a shadow box. I'll be doing this again this year. Super happy to do so. So much fun. But they cannot live on a shelf. They take up too much room, so they live in the cubes. And lastly, if you have made it this far, I want to show you the giveaways that I will be handing out at Breyer Fest. I will be at Breyer Fest literally Sunday through the following Monday. I will be there 9 days, so you will see me somewhere. And if you want a CWS model horse shows and design fan to help keep you cool in the Kentucky heat, these things are pretty sizable, so come grab one from me. I will have them on my person at all times. The only time I might not be able to hand them out is when I am at a model horse show because of rules and also because of how crazy those get. So come get one. They are going to help. They will keep you cool, and I will have them on me at all times. All right, that was it. That was the collection tour. This is my little happy place. As silly as that might sound, it's true. I'm a big believer in spaces and in having a space that you feel like you can be comfortable in and relax in, and that will drive your creativity and productivity and all of those things. So this is my space. I'm glad I could share it with you all today. Also, so grateful to have been able to add lots of cool horses to the collection since the last time we did a collection tour, and excited to show you guys what I plan on adding in Kentucky over the next couple of months. And hopefully that, one of those things, hopefully, will be that new shelving unit. So we grow, we adapt, we evolve. And on that note, I will see you all so soon in Kentucky. If you want to know where I'm going to be, I have my broad schedule posted in a couple of different places. It is fully detailed in my last YouTube video. It is also listed on my Instagram, Collecting with Sam, under my Breyer Fest 2024 highlight. And I've also got it listed on my CWS Model Horse Shows page, because as you guys saw, the handout that I have for you guys is CWS Model Horse Shows related. So I've got that schedule of where you can find me listed on the CWS Model Horse Shows page as well. That said, come find me. I can't wait to see you all, and happy Breyer Fest. I want you to